This is Broadcast House, WXYZ Television, Big Channel 7, Detroit. Broadcast House is located in suburban Southfield on a 110-acre tract of forest, field, and stream. Construction began in July 1958 and was completed in May of 1959. WXYZ TV and WXYZ Radio operate from this building. There are 60,000 square feet of space surrounded by a traditional Williamsburg colonial-style design. Lots of natural settings for a variety of simple or complex productions. We produce sport and nature shows as well as utilize the natural background for pleasant outdoor settings for commercials. Here's something unique, a regulation golf green often used as a commercial locale. We're leaving Broadcast House and crossing to an adjacent building, Guest House, which is really a cafeteria and dining room area capable of serving 80 people at a time. Most of our nearly 200 permanent employees lunch at Guest House daily. It's an informal and relaxing atmosphere, a touch of family-style dining. Guest House was the home of the original owners of the property. Although the exterior is the same, it's been completely redesigned inside. This is the second floor with 3 guest dining rooms. Agency people visiting us can enjoy the relaxation of private dining here. The menu is varied and the food tastefully prepared. Guest House also has rooms for overnight visitors. Agency reps often spend the night here to be handy for early morning taping sessions. The trophy room, also on the second floor. We're especially proud of the many recognitions by civic, public, and professional groups. They point up the efforts of the station to serve the community with meaningful programming. Our employee parking lot can take care of 175 cars. There's always room for our guests' automobiles, too. Our transmitting tower is 90 feet higher than the Eiffel Tower. It's been in service from this site since New Year's Day, 1959. Now let's move into Broadcast House for a tour of one of the finest facilities between the east and west coasts. The colonial theme of the building is carried out in the furniture in the lobby. The lobby was designed for comfort, too. The executive conference room is spacious and ideally equipped for meetings and luncheons. It's equipped for comfortable viewing by advertisers and agency personnel of closed-circuit presentations and auditions. Here's a peek at the sales department. It's typical of our office areas. And here's the heart of our sales operation, the Availabilities Board. Just next door, the Communications Department and TV Traffic, where our commercials are screened and scheduled. The big 77,000 cubic foot Properties Department has more than 10,000 individual props. It has enough furniture and appliances for a large house, a king-size assortment of possible scenery and costume changes, and more than a dozen permanent sets. Studio A is one of 3 40 by 60-foot studios. You're seeing House of Fashions, a weekly women's program. This studio has a modern, fully equipped kitchen. It's used for on-the-air presentations and off-the-air for the preparation of food. It's a built-in little bit of home. Incidentally, studios B and C both have overhead tracks, letting us surround each shooting area with background cyclorama or drapes. Each studio is equipped with a permanent lighting control panel and 90 outlets for overhead dimmer-controlled lights. We think lighting in television is as important as color gradations in painting. Driving automobiles into Studio C is easier than driving into your garage. 2 big double doors are just one distinguishing feature of this particular studio. We also have twin-drum rear projection facilities. "15 television cameras are available for live and videotaped studio and remote productions. 4 of them are like this beauty, the RCA TK60, using a 4.5-inch image orthicon tube. The TK60 produces pictures of such high original quality that 3 tape copies can be produced and played with broadcast quality. Our remote truck is equipped with microwave units. Now you're in A Control, part of what we believe to be the largest TV control center in the world. Actually, it's 3 control rooms in one, equipped with the most up-to-date transistorized control consoles. Here are the brains and the equipment to ensure a quality picture every time. The announcer's booth is strategically placed. C Control is equipped to produce special effects. The Telechrome Effects Amplifier electronically does an unlimited number of special optical jobs, such as these. We have 3 videotape recorders, one of them being the new TR-22 from RCA. They have InterSync, AMPEC, and electronic editor. InterSync makes sure there's no roll playback. AMPEC cuts out geometric distortion. The electronic editor lets us assemble videotape material and insert new material without cutting. We're one of the Midwest's major producers of taped commercials. The graphics and art department has the most modern photographic and typesetting facilities available. There's a still photographer on staff. In addition to our darkroom, there are many types of cameras capable of shooting any picture you could need. And then there's equipment such as letterpress, hot press, and photographic typesetting facilities. In Telecine is this RCA TK26C color TV film camera chain. This facility permits telecasting of both color film and color slides on a full compatibility basis. We do several color programs each week. Additionally, many feature films are transmitted in color. If we have to, we can originate 4 film programs simultaneously. For example, 1 to the network, 1 locally, and 2 on closed circuit for screening or audition inside Broadcast House. We're the only TV station in Detroit able to handle both 16 and 35 millimeter film. Our film library has 2 million feet of film on almost 4,000 separate reels. This is where we store our blockbuster feature films on an extended time basis. Our library is full of full-length features containing many Academy Award winners. The News and Public Affairs Department is served by 9 different news wires. We have a staff of 14 news specialists on top of the news 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our reporters and sound newsreel camera crews cover all news events in southeastern Michigan, big and small. Our Our worldwide AP Photofax Daily is always ready to prove that a picture is worth 1,000 words. You've seen our facilities. Now we'd like to show you excerpts from some of our typical locally produced programs. Prize movies and money. Rita Bell handles the phone quiz and hosts top feature films. The Big News with Lee McNew and Dave Dials is a roundup of Michigan and Detroit area news and sports presented every Monday through Friday at 6:30 and again at 11:10. Pat Morris covers the weather every weekday evening. The late night and weekend reports are handled by equally talented young ladies. The popular World Adventure series with George Perot is presented Sundays. The show features travel and adventure films and interviews with well-known guests. A half-hour strip with a big Detroit following is The Big Show weekday mornings. Sagebrush Shorty and his puppets host syndicated adventure films. Monday nights, it's Adventures with Dennis Glenn Cooper, featuring exciting color films shot in some of the world's most exotic lands by big-name explorers. The Johnny Ginger Show, starring Detroit's top kid personality. It's an hour of comedy skits and film comedy every weekday morning. Our after-lunch weekday strip is Hollywood Theater with Ed McKenzie, a popular movie show. Our late afternoon feature film show is called The Big Movie. Our nightly movie strip Premiere Theater draws upon our extensive library of Hollywood's greatest box office hits. For the gals, a special TV treat every Saturday morning, an hour-long live show, House of Fashions. Edith Fern Melrose keeps the women on top of the latest fashion trends from New York, Paris, and around the world. Starlit Stairway, an amateur talent variety show featuring Rita Bell and local talent. After our late-night Premiere Theater movie, it's time for After Hours with Ed McKenzie, a relaxing half-hour talk show. Now a look at a few of our specials. This is a scene from King Tut's Treasures, an unusual half-hour mood piece using actual objects found in the Pharaoh's tomb.
But by the time I came to my power, the people had returned to the arms of Ammon as a god more fitting. Being but 12 years of age, I agreed with them that Ammon was a finer god than Aten, and to prove my sincerity, I changed my name to the one which means living image of Ammon.
They ate well, these kings, these human gods. On tables adorned with flowers and fruit, they dined on roasted meats. And to drink, they had black beer and wine, which the great god Osiris, maker of life, provided.
Vincent was a dramatic study of Van Gogh, his life and paintings.
I am a willful child, but I love animals and flowers. I am only 9, and I am forever drawing flowers. Father is a country parson. My mother is always knitting something or writing a letter. I have joined Uncle Vincent in his art gallery in The Hague. I can't tell you how much I enjoy the pictures. Uncle Vincent is sending me to the London branch. I will see England at last. A young man of 19 must stop and buy a top hat. London. How often I stop to sketch on the Thames embankment on the way home from Southampton Street in the evening. It's all for nothing, of course. I'm not taking it seriously. But what a pleasure it is to watch a scene come to life under my hand. I am at Wasmus in Belgium, a lay preacher under the Committee of Evangelization. But I fail again. I am 27 years of age and still without a calling. Am I to fail in everything I touch? Am I not to be of any comfort to anyone? Am I not to be of any use on this earth?
Our series of 5 emergency room shows was filmed at Detroit's receiving hospital. I notice he is using a stethoscope. Would this seem to indicate a heart condition?
Looks like it. He's examining these engorged neck veins, and quite apparently Dr. Zaleski has judged that this lady is in congestive heart failure. We don't know the precise reason for this, but nevertheless, he is proceeding with this diagnosis in mind. He's now taking her blood pressure. You'll notice she's extremely short of breath. He feels that obviously now that this is an acute emergency of congestive heart failure, and he is attempting by means of rubber tourniquets applied rapidly to accumulate the excess fluid in her limbs rather than in her lungs. This should reduce the strain in the heart, to the heart, and enable her to breathe more easily.
In cases like this, time becomes a very important factor, doesn't it?
He's now putting oxygen into the patient, and this too should enable her to breathe far more easily. You'll notice.
Within My Walls brought the history of our civilization to life via art objects at the Detroit Institute of Arts.
Within my walls is the history of the human race expressed. My story would be without basis if I neglected the classical age of fine art. Perhaps it would be more accurate to call that era Hellenic, for it was from Greece that the trend proceeded. It gradually transferred its seat in the Greek world to the city of Rome. After Corinth was seized and Greece had ceased to be, the classical age came primarily in the arts of sculpture and architecture. It began shortly after 776 BC, the year historians tell us of the first Olympic Games. The Games brought nearly the entire male population of Greece to Olympia. There, the sight of youthful, pliant bodies of athletes seen in the most graceful exercises and poses caused the rapid development of sculpture. Dorian centers of art sprang up in the not-too-distant cities of Argos and Sicyon, simultaneously on the shores of Asia Minor, on many islands on the Aegean Sea, and on the Greek mainland. Interest was spreading in the draped female form. The coming of Christianity most certainly would have had an enriching effect on the era had not the cry of the barbarian crushed and closed that golden epoch. The world lapsed into the Dark Ages.
To produce Inside the Congo, we sent a reporter and film crew to get the story as it was being made. A pen lies motionless, never again to be held by the man whose instrument of fulfillment it was, for himself and for all of us. Robert Frost is dead. We pay tribute today to this man and to his poetry. We pay tribute to a man the world has known for many years, Robert Frost, who was a great man and whose poetry was great because it sprang from the soul as well as the mind. We produced Robert Frost a tribute the same day the poet died, using VTR excerpts we had taped the last time Frost was in Detroit.
Just look at you all. I'm looking at you. My walks have been walks somewhat, but my first memory of a long walk is up California Street in San Francisco, all alone, when we lived up that way, when I was 8 and 10 years old, in those 2 years when I came away. And a good many of my poems mention the word walk. I thought of it, I think of it now when I see don't walk and walk in the city. You see, walk, don't walk. I'm the only walker. I walked this afternoon for 1 hour and only met 2 people on foot. That's right, I counted them.
Il y a eu 58 votants. La majorité absolue étant de 30. Résultat, Buenos Aires, 2 voix. Lyon, 12. Détroit, 14. Et Mexico, avec 30 voix, obtient la majorité.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dave Dials. A very, very disappointing moment here for the Detroit Olympic delegation. The Detroit Olympic delegation has been defeated here. Mexico City has been named to host the 1968 Summer Olympic Games. That great cheer you heard go up went up from the Mexican delegation. We're going to try to talk to a member of the Detroit delegation. They moved away from here. Fred Mathai Jr., could I talk with you for 1 minute, Fred?
It's a great disappointment, Dave. You can hear the cheering for the other team. We thought we had it. We did our best. I don't know what did it, but
Fred, I know we're all stunned and shocked. This is another in a long series of rebuffs for you and your father, and I can't figure where we went wrong. Can you, Fred?
Neither can I. Neither can I.
Behind the Olympic story was the result of a daring plan. We sent a reporter and film crew to Baden-Baden, Germany to get the inside story on how the voting went. We telecast the 1963 Gold Cup race live in a spectacular 6.5 hour program using 12 cameras, including one in a helicopter.
Here comes the U.S. one on the inside, and Wilson has taken the lead. Don Wilson. Boy, it looked like Wilson was over that starting line ahead of the gun, and Don really took a run at it, and that could be a great break for Miss Bardall, because Don Wilson can handle the boat. And if that boat was running and keeps running as it was, he could all to take a second and settle for 300 points. But it looked to me from here unofficially, and Herb Steiner thinks the same thing, that the U.S. one got over that line too soon. We're waiting for some word on it from the referee. Going into that turn, the U.S. one is out in front. Don Wilson really barreling. Miss Bardall.
It's been a pleasure introducing you to Detroit's big station, the image, the plant, the people. Best wishes from all of us at Broadcast House.
Channel 7, WXYZ TV in Detroit.